make sure that you work on yourself, all around. We need better people in this world.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unleash Your Power. I am your host, Jeffrey Pinzon, and today we have the pleasure of being in Miami, Florida, and we have the one and only Rachel Garcia from CRE Capital. Last time we shot our podcast in California, and today we're in Miami. She just moved to Miami.
Woo!
How is it, Rachel, so far?
It's amazing. I love it. I love it. I'm super happy here. It's different. The humidity, as you've experienced.
Yeah, it's a little different for sure from California weather. Definitely. Last time that we sat down, Rachel, you were in conversations of moving here to Miami, and now you're here. You've been here for how long?
It's going to be 4 months.
4 months?
Time is flying,
wow,
yes. 4 months.
Fast.
Yes.
How was the transition?
It's, it was a smooth transition, although it is very different. The weather, everything, business, it's been a tough market for sure, business-wise, but slowly but surely I'm cracking the market. Everything's been great. A lot of my business is still coming from California, so that 3-hour difference, it's, I'm learning to adjust.
Time.
Exactly. It's 3 hours.
Yeah.
So, in the mornings I get up, I go to the gym, and I have all that time for myself. So come 11, 12 noon, I'm already like, all right, let's get it going, because that's when Callie's waking up. Yeah. So it's been good.
And what was that leap of faith? Like, what made you move out here and take that job? Because not that many people are willing to do that.
I just need a change. I want to change, and I felt that this was a great opportunity for me, for my company, and so far it's been good. And honestly, I love it. It's been a little bit challenging because I miss my friends, my family, but overall it's been great.
What have you learned about yourself being here by yourself?
Gosh, that I have that I have guts.
Yeah.
That I have guts. I've learned a lot, honestly. It's like just taking that leap of faith and just taking that jump, just how I did with my company. I feel like my life is just a spontaneous journey.
Yeah. And you're always traveling, so.
Always traveling. Yeah. I just got back from LA actually 2 days ago. 2 days ago.
But before that, you were somewhere else, right?
I travel every month. Before that, I went to the Keys, and then I went to Turks and Caicos. I went to Cuba. I go everywhere. I travel at least once a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you like traveling by yourself, how you had mentioned.
I love it. Yeah. I feel like traveling alone, it gets me out of my comfort zone. I'm an introvert, like I mentioned on my last podcast.
She lying, yo.
I'm not lying. So traveling alone just gets me out of my comfort zone, and I love the fact that I get to meet new people. And when you're by yourself, people approach you, right? And they start talking to you, and then you make new friends. So now I have friends everywhere I go. I made friends in, Turks and Caicos. Everybody at the Ritz-Carlton is like on my Instagram, always messaging me, how's life? How are you? I'm coming to Miami. I'm like, come, it's just amazing traveling and getting to meet new people. And to me, I feel like not until I find that person is when, everything's going to kind of sort of change. But I just get up and go whenever. And it's tough to, reach out to somebody, hey, tomorrow I leave to Turks and Caicos. Are you available? It's like, wait, what? So, that's why I rather just travel alone.
Right. So how has that, like, in you meeting people here in Miami, because you left everything in California, right? And you started growing a new network right here in Miami.
Yep.
How has that been like, right? Like being on your own, connecting with people.
Yeah. So I literally just brought my luggage and my toothbrush.
That's
That's
man.
literally all I brought, just my luggage and my toothbrush, and I brought four luggages. But yeah, it's been, in the beginning, the first month, it was a challenge. I'll say that, but I'm starting to make friends out here, and I'm starting to make great relationships, which I love. So yeah, it's been good. Believe it or not, I was in LA, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to go back to Miami to to see my friends out there. Like, it's just crazy how the how it is. That's life.
Are you planning on staying here longer?
I think I'm going to give it another 6 months to do a complete year. And then from there, I figure out whether I want to stay, whether I want to go back to LA, or maybe go live somewhere else. I don't know. I've considered Bali, although that's a little far. My mom and my dad would freak out. Don't tell them. But but yeah, that's always been a dream, to live, somewhere else. I don't know. Life is short.
So let me ask you this: how is that like your parents, right? They see you traveling by yourself, always going out there, being spontaneous. How do they get at you when it comes to your personal relationships and
That's tough. So that's a really big, just this weekend, they were, all my family was just, having that conversation, that talk, like, so when are you going to settle down? When are you going to have kids? Like, when are you going to, get in a relationship? And to be quite honest with you, I don't know. That's one thing in my life that I can't control, right? I can control my money. I can control my investments. I can control, all of that. But love, that's something you just can't control. That comes, that comes when it comes. And I just feel like maybe it just hasn't been my time, So it's been a challenge for sure, because I would love to, have somebody and travel with somebody and have all those things. But at the same time, I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to settle for just anybody. I'm not going to settle for, for anything less than what I deserve.
what is it that you look for when it comes to that?
So I consider myself pretty well-rounded, right? And well-rounded meaning like I have my excuse my language, shit together.
Right.
I'm pretty well-rounded in the fact that I have values. I'm very family-oriented. I have amazing friends. I have all of that. So, and I've done all the self-work. So I want somebody to have the same,
Right.
At least meet me. That's all I'm asking for. And, my family at one point, they're like, well, you need to start lowering your standards. And I'm like, but why? At first, don't get me wrong. Oh my gosh. The first few years that I was single, it was very challenging. They were like, you need to lower your standards, this and that. I lowered my standards, and it didn't work out at all. So now I'm like, no, I'm not going to lower my standards. Like, this is it. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, then there's the door. I've been single for, gosh, a little too long. I think it's going on 7 years. On 7 years. And it's just, for me, I think my biggest challenge has been finding the right person. Right? Finding somebody that...
What is that right person? Does he have to be like an alpha man? Like, what is it that you're
Yes.
looking for?
So it's funny you touch on that. Absolutely. I've dated, and I've had men tell me, like, honestly, you seem a little intimidating. And I'm like, but how? Like, why? If I'm just being me, they're like, I don't know. And then just recently, one guy told me, your energy is a little masculine. And I was like, yeah, for the wrong guy.
His was probably too feminine. I don't know.
But to be quite honest with you, if I'm with an alpha man and I feel comfortable, let me just tell you, I will be submissive, and I will be the most feminine woman you could ever imagine. I'm loving, I'm caring, I'm affectionate, I'm loyal, which loyalty is huge for me. I've never cheated. I don't plan to cheat. I feel like that is, like, why be in a relationship if you're going to cheat, right? And I feel like most alpha men that are successful and have everything, that's literally all they want, is just to be from woman to woman, because it's like, why settle for one when I can have 10, And for me, I'm like, no, there has to be somebody out there that thinks just like myself. I'm successful and I'm well-rounded. I consider myself good looking. I have all these qualities and all these values. So I know that there's somebody out there that has the same and that wants the same, that eventually wants to raise a family, have kids, have all that good stuff. And a lot of these alpha men, they just don't want a family. They're all about business and work, and that's it. Like, and just having, their fun.
You want to have that balance.
Exactly. And for me, I want to have all that, but with the right man, with the right partner. I want to form a family. I want to build an empire together. I want to do all of that. But again, I can't emphasize this enough. It has to be with an alpha man, because if it's not, I'm just going to, I don't want to say I'm going to step all over you, but it's just not going to work out. I need somebody that's going to, make me feel secure.
Right.
Make me feel like, okay, he's got it. Like if anything were to happen or whatever, like he's got us. Like I feel protected. I feel secure.
Right. So how do you feel? Because you're talking about like a lot. There's a lot of alpha men here in Miami, right? Especially in the scene.
There is a good-looking ones. Need I mention?
Yeah. So how has that been? Like, have you been dating lately?
Not really, not really. I've been more focused on building my business and really cracking this market. But, I've dated here and there, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I guess I just haven't found the right one. It's like, and everybody told me before moving out to Miami, like, all the men out there are pretty successful, very good looking, but they just want one thing. And we know what that is.
Yeah.
So, so I just kind of put that to the side, and I'm like, whatever comes, and it's a right fit, then it comes, and if it doesn't, then it's not meant to be. I've tried, in my almost 7 years of being single, I've tried dating apps, I've tried everything. My friends have tried setting me up, and it just hasn't.
How
really
has that, the apps, the dating apps?
Oh my God, that's torture.
Like?
It's a waste of time and it's torture.
In what way? Like,
it's just a waste of time. You're judging somebody by a picture and by what they say they are, but you don't know if that's in reality who they really are. I have some terrifying stories, and I'm not going to go, through all of them, but I've had some stories. That's for another podcast. That's for another session, but I've had some horror stories. It's just, and then I've met some really good guys, and I'm like, wow, this guy's really nice, but he's just not for me. Wow. And I'm picky. I don't want to say picky. I'm very selective.
Yeah.
I'm very, very selective. I think I'm doing a little bit better now, but before I was like, oh, if I don't like his shoes, I can't date him. But now it's like, okay, I could probably change his shoes. I could probably, fix him up a little bit.
Funny you mentioned that. When I started dating my wife, like the first thing that I used to make like lines on my head. And this her ex-boyfriend clowned on me. She's like, "Oh, is my son gonna get his little car and drive through the freeway of his head?" And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "That's one thing that I had to fix because it's like that had to go." I'm like, "What the heck was wrong with my head?" So let me ask you this: do you feel like pressure with your parents and everything that when it comes to dating, like you have your guard up already because you're like, man, like time is passing by, right? And you haven't found that right person. Your parents are looking at you. They're putting pressure on you. Like, how does that make you feel?
I mean, it stresses me out sometimes, but I feel like at this point in my life, it's like if it happens, then it happens, and if it doesn't, then that's okay. That's absolutely fine. I don't need to. I don't need to put pressure on myself. I already have enough pressure with work and business and all of that. So I don't really need to put more pressure on, finding somebody and making, of course I would love that, right? Who wouldn't? But at the same time, I'm not just going to settle with anybody. I want my life partner. I want somebody that that shares the same, the same interests that I do, right? That's also an entrepreneur. Because to be honest with you, I was just having this conversation with my brother this weekend. He's like, why can't you just settle for a good guy, a 9 to 5? I'm like, there is no way that I could ever be with a 9 to 5 guy. And no offense to any of them, right? But that's just personal preference. I get up and go at, if I wake up today and I'm like, you know what, I want to fly back to LA to go see my parents. Could he come with me? Probably not. He has to ask 2 weeks in advance, like, hey, can I give it? I can't, that doesn't work for me. And sometimes, I'll end up in Paris. It's like, why not? On a Tuesday. It's like, why not? And the average guy would not be able to do that. And so, at least for me, personal preference, like, why not? Somebody told me the other day, what if, this 9 to 5 was a millionaire? Well, that's great, but can they get up and go whenever they want? Like, and it's just like a give and take, right? If he meets all the other qualities, I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not going to do it. But I want somebody that's able to have that same flexibility as I do, right? I want somebody that is thinking long term. If you're, because I want to date somebody between their mid-30s to 40s, early 40s, right? And if you're at that age already and you're still in a 9 to 5, that tells me when we have a family together, you're not going to be able to attend our kids' events. You're not going to be able to take them to school, pick them up. You're not going to be able to be there for their special moments. And that's what I want, somebody to be there for their special moments. I'm very, very family oriented, and I can't wait to have a family. And so, those are some things that we're going to have to talk about. But again, it's a give and take, right? You have to make that if it's a 9 to 5, but he makes really good money, holds down the house, has everything else in place, and maybe, why not? But it's just, to me, flexibility is very important.
Yeah. So
family.
Family, right. Yeah, family. I see my kids, and just when we left California, I was watching my son sleep, and I'm like, man, so... Yeah, such a blessing. So
exactly,
it's a big blessing,
and I can't wait to have that. Absolutely,
that's good. You're gonna love every second of it. You're gonna love every second of it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, because you said from 30, you said from 30 to 40, right?
No, so mid-30s. I'm 33, so maybe 35 yeah.
So nobody under 20s or none of that.
Yeah,
You don't want to be raising nobody.
I'm not raising anybody. No.
So let's just say that he's mid-30s, right? And he's barely coming together, right? He's in a 9 to 5, but he has that. You see that vision, that inspiration of him bettering himself, right? Is that something that you're willing to work with?
Absolutely. If I see the potential, absolutely. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, yes, 1,000%. I feel like a lot of men sometimes need that little push.
Absolutely.
And so, absolutely, 1,000%. If he's just as you mentioned, yes, if he's willing to, right? Yeah. Because there's some men that are stubborn, that are like, nope, this is me, this is the way I am, and I'm not going to change. It's like, well, then I'm not going to be anybody's mom either, right?
Yeah.
So,
So the reason I asked that is because when I married my wife, like I was broke.
Yeah.
I was broke as shit.
Yeah.
Thankfully, thank the Lord that now we're better. We're in a better position now. Things have fast forward, right? Yeah. But like you say, like she helped me grow, right? And she gave me that little push, like seeing her being able to stay at home and take care of the business. So that's huge, because then you could work with that, right?
Exactly. And that goes to another point. If I were to, some men are like, well, we want a women that's, like the alpha man, right? Some have told me, like, I want a woman that's going to stay home and be able to, raise our kids and blah, blah, blah. By all means, if you could take care of me and if you could afford my lifestyle, by all means, let me stay home. I'd love that. Absolutely. That's what I do want. And that's why I'm working so hard now, because...
So you're okay of letting go of your business and
It's
stuff
not
like
so
that?
much letting it go, because it could run it on its own. To be quite honest with you, I have my,
Okay, cool.
my backup, so I could have the business run on its own, and I can still raise my family. Because one thing that a woman should never do is depend fully on a man. Because if something happens, let's say he loses his job, or his company goes wrong, they have, you to support, right? They have you as a backup. Like, okay, like, don't worry about it, honey. I got it. I'll handle it. Like, let me, like, we still have this. Don't worry about it while you get your stuff situated, right? So, it's a balance. But yeah, I would love to stay home and raise my kids and be an amazing wife to my husband, and be an amazing mom to my kids, and more so be present, be loving, be caring, be all those amazing things. Like, that's what I want. That's exactly what I feel like I was put on this earth to do that. And yeah, take care of my man, he's taking care of the house, or taking care of us. So I need to take care of him.
Yeah,
and my family.
Yeah. I feel like now, like, there's a good topic that we could jump into, because a lot of people, and you touched on it, right? If you have your business, you're running it, and something happens to your partner's business and it drops, like, now you're able to support them, right? I was raised old school. Like, my parents, if you're the man, you got to provide.
Yeah.
That's it, period, end the story.
Yeah.
There's no buts, there's no ifs. There's, like, you're the man, you took on that responsibility, you have to deliver, right? How do you feel like in today's society, right? Because now everything is 50-50, or you have to support each other when it comes to paying bills, stuff like that. How do you feel about that?
So it's so crazy that you mentioned that. So this past weekend, I was with my best friends, and both of them are in really good, healthy, loving relationships, and they set the perfect example, right? And so we had this conversation, because before, in my head, like, my mentality was, yes, I was raised like that as well, but because I do well for myself, I don't know why I had put it into my head that, okay, because I do well, it's going to be 50-50, right? It's in my head. I thought, like, how is he going to be able to afford, the mortgage that I'm paying, by himself, or whatever. I don't know. I just put it into my head, like, it's going to be it's a lot of money, like, to pay, right, to pay everything like himself. But all my friends, when we were having this conversation, they were like, no, they're like, my husband pays everything. Like, they pay everything. Like, I take care of the kids. I support that. I pay my car payment or whatever, but he takes care of everything. And it's including the mortgage, the bills, all of that. And I'm like, wow, that sounds really nice. I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's the way it should be. Yeah. And it's true. It's like, there's a lot, and this is the point that they gave me. There's things that a man can't do that a woman can, which is, one, have kids, right? 100%. Raise the kids, give hold down the house, like, literally hold down the house, all of that stuff. And then there's things that the woman can't do that the man can, right? Which is like, provide and change a tire. I don't know how to change a tire. So little things like that, So I feel like they have a point. So now I'm looking at things completely different.
It changed your perspective.
It changed my perspective completely. Yeah. So now that whole 50-50, it's like, no, like, that shouldn't be it. Yeah. Like, I should have the option of, if I want to.
If you wanted to, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Like, now it's going to come out of love and passion if you do it. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. That's for me, it has always been like that. The only thing that I don't do manly is stuff at the house. Like, you gotta change, you gotta put this mirror, no. That I'm like, dude.
No. That's one thing that I do need, guys. If you're paying attention, I do need a handyman.
I'm sorry I had to do that, by the way. Sorry.
I do need a handyman, I will say. Like, if I need something, like, if I need somebody to put up a frame, like, who am I gonna call? Like, they need to do it. They need to be handy. I've always wanted that, like, before I used to say, I'm going to marry a lumberjack, but whatever. That's, as long as he's handy and he's a man, an alpha man, I mean, I'd be in heaven. I treat him like a king. Yeah. That's all I got to say. I mean, he has to know how to change a light bulb. Like, come on. Yeah. Do you know how to change a light bulb?
I can do that. I know how to change a tire too. But when it comes to doing like stuff at the house, no. I remember once my wife's like, for Christmas, I'm going to give you, what is that? That tool? The tool gun or whatever. Yeah, I don't even know what it's called because I don't even know one.
Gosh. drill. No, that's not good.
I gotta work on that.
You gotta work on that, yeah.
But that's awesome because like she holds it down at home, and I think that's as a man you gotta hold it down, taking care, providing, putting a roof over your kids if you have kids, or over your wife's head, so you guys could grow together and that's awesome that now you're changing your perspective and you're looking at it that way, because that's gonna, when you have that family, you're gonna enjoy every second of it.
Exactly. And mind you, like when I dated obviously the wrong men, they would tell me like, I feel like you would be too much to keep up with. Like you're traveling all the time, you're living this lifestyle, but in my head I'm like, yeah, it is probably too much for you because you're not the right person for me, right? The right man will be okay with that. Yeah. Like the right man will be like, you know what? Like that's we have that same, we share that same, passion for traveling. We share that same passion for business. Right. We share that same passion for, family goals. Exactly. Yeah. I want to build an empire with my husband. Yeah. And if he doesn't want to build an empire together, but he already has his empire built, it's up to me to give him that push to keep him going when he's having a bad day, comes home. Like I know exactly what to do and how to take care of my man after he's had a long day of work or a stressful day or whatever the case may be. Yeah. But it's, that's what's important. And I see all these women nowadays like, oh, I'm independent and I don't need a man. I need a man. Like, that's not me. Yes, I'm independent now, but it's by choice. Yes, I do need a man, but I'm not going to settle for just anybody. I'm going to be very selective with who I'm with, because at the end of the day, that's going to be the father of my kids. Right. That's going to be, who I'm stuck with. And that's who's going to set the example for my kids. And I want a good example. Yeah.
Well, we're going to make sure that we get some applications filled out real quick. Credit score has to be high. Bank statements, guys, fellas, make
tax
sure.
Returns, no. Oh my gosh. No. But yeah, it's overall, it's been a journey for sure. I've learned a lot about myself, what I like, what I don't like. I've dated a lot throughout these, 6-7 years. But again, I refuse to settle. Yeah. And it's unfortunate that your parents and some family and friends, they'll tell you like, no, you gotta just it's a give and take. Sometimes you just have to settle. But it's like, why do I have to settle? I'd rather be alone. Right. If I can do everything for myself and I'm happy, why should I have to settle? Right. So I'm going to continue to, build myself and most importantly, work on yourself, right? Because I see a lot of people nowadays that are super successful, but that are not happy. Like they're not internally happy. So that's something that I've been working on for the past years is, working on myself, any traumas that I've had or anything like that. And, really, working on myself to be the best version of me and
fall in love with you, right?
And fall in love with me. Yeah. Exactly. I love me, to be quite honest with you. And some people are like, and I'm like, no, I seriously love myself. Like I really do. And I love myself enough to respect myself to not settle. Mm-hmm.
That's huge. Yeah.
It is.
You gotta love yourself, and you gotta know what you want, right?
So exactly. Like and some people don't know what they want in life. I know exactly what I want. I could sit here and literally describe the man that I want.
Hey, break it down. And it's crazy because if you start breaking it down, you never know. Maybe that person might be there.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I know exactly what I want to, like the tea. Like I know, like.
So from you traveling many different places, different countries, have you ever dated somebody from a different country, or like,
I've met, I
vacationing,
have met,
Yeah.
I have met
Yeah.
some, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really far. Like
Yeah.
I won't mention where I went, and I'll probably, I don't know if I'll watch this, but I have, and it just didn't work out. And it was for, some obvious reasons. There was a few things that I didn't like that were non-negotiable for me. He didn't want kids. I want at least one or two max, but I at least want one, and those things are not negotiable for me. I feel like I was meant to be a mom. I was meant to, have a family, and those are like, when you see like, oh, couple goals, like that's literally what I'm aiming for.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like anything is possible. Anything is possible in this world. You just really have to put your mind to it, and you just have to go for it. That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what are
Oh, I knew you were going to ask that. What are some qualities? What's your list?
What's the list? Tell me.
Oh my gosh.
Short, tall.
Has to be over 6 feet tall. Usually my average is between 6'2", 6'4".
6 feet tall. Okay.
So yeah, between 6'2" and 6'4" is the average that I've dated or in my past. I usually like I don't know. I can't say like when it comes to like what I'm into ethnicity wise and stuff. I mean, usually I'm pretty open to it. Lately, I feel like I've been attracting these white men, these Caucasians. But I just, as long as he's a hardworking man, entrepreneur, has, is family oriented, respects me, values me, and vice versa, of course, right? I think as long as all those core things are there, I think that's what matters. And then that attraction, sexually, physically, mentally. I feel like if I'm not attracted, I could be attracted to you physically, but if I'm not attracted to you mentally, that's tough. I can't do that. And there's so many men and women out there that are, that are very good looking, extremely good looking, but then you start talking to them and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm already checked out. Like, all right, I gotta go. Yeah. So now it's like when I date, I'm like, let's go out for a coffee or for a drink. And I don't do dinners anymore because there is no way I can sit through a dinner. It's like, for me, I rather take myself. The coffee's faster. Oh yeah. The coffee's faster. Yep. I'll just chug it and I'm like, all right, I gotta go. Yeah. So it's like, for me,
if they make it to dinner, then
if they make it to dinner, that's when okay, like I could really have a conversation with this guy. Because to be quite honest, the way that I see it is, a lot of women, I see them like, oh, I'm gonna go with this guy because free dinner. I take myself out to dinner all the time to really nice places. I literally take a flight just to go have dinner, and I rather be by myself and enjoy my own company than have to sit through that whole dinner and hear this guy that I'm not even interested in. Yeah. It's like, and I just, you'll know when I'm mentally checked out. Like you'll see, like I'm just quiet and I'm just like in my, like enjoying my food and I'm just like, oh my God, like I gotta go.
I gotta eat faster.
I gotta eat faster. Yeah. Yeah. So, it's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna make sure that. Any last words before we wrap this up, Rachel?
What I can say is, for anybody that's listening to this podcast, don't settle. There's a person for you out there. It doesn't matter how long it takes you. Hopefully, crossing my fingers that next time we have our next episode, he'll be sitting next to us.
Let's go. Yeah.
And he'll be joining us on this podcast. But what I can recommend is don't settle, and make sure you know your values, make sure you know your worth, and most importantly, work on yourself, not just physically, but mentally and internally, because you want somebody, you want to attract somebody that's very well-rounded, like yourself. So make sure that you work on yourself, all around. We need better people in this world.
Absolutely. Yeah. We definitely better people, stronger people, alpha people. Yeah.
And if you're out there, please reach out.
Please reach out, man. Awesome, guys. Tune in for the next episode. Make sure that you guys follow Rachel. She's doing a lot of great things. This is someone that you want to have in your circle. So like that, you could elevate your lifestyle and grow. I have learned tremendously from you, from the little that I've known you, and
Absolutely.
seeing you travel, playing a big game. I'm like, dude, I gotta step up. I'm
Closing deals while I'm traveling.
Yeah, man, I gotta get there. We're gonna get there. So little by little.
Yep, you will. Yeah. You will.
Awesome, guys. Share this video. A lot of women need to watch this video, because I know that a lot of people are probably in the same shoes as you are, looking for that significant other.
Absolutely.
They probably want to lower their standards. This is a
validation
not to lower your standards.
Don't do
Raise
it.
them up a notch.
Raise them up,
a notch.
exactly, and add tax.
Yeah, that's right. So tune in. Take care, guys. Love you.
Bye.